calling on Republicans to quickly deliver President-elect Trump's America First agenda. And now there's some news that President-elect Trump was going to hold a rally in Washington, D.C. later this month on January 19th, which, of course, the day before his inauguration. According to an announcement from his inaugural committee, the event is being dubbed a victory rally and will take place at the Capital One Arena. Trump has not held a rally in Washington since the speech he delivered on the ellipse on January 6, 2021, before a crowd of his supporters stormed the Capitol in an attempt to stop the certification of the 2020 election results. Meanwhile, in a ceremony later today at the White House, President Biden will award the second highest civilian medal to the leaders of the House January 6 Select Committee. Former Congresswoman Liz Cheney and Democratic Congressman Benny Thompson will both receive the Presidential Citizens Medal. The award will also be given to 18 other recipients, including some who helped set new standards for treating injuries in war. So, Mr. Secretary, let's go back to the idea of this rally that Trump is holding in Washington. Now, after he won in 2016, he actually had a series of victory rallies across the country. He has not done that this time around. But now he's doing it the eve of the inauguration. And let's talk, in light of our conversation all morning long, let's talk about security for these events. Now, January 6th, this coming Monday, likely, security will be necessary just because it always is, but there's certainly not the threat posed there like it was 4 years ago. So we could set that aside. But that combination of January 19th and particularly the inauguration, which could draw hundreds of thousands of people to Washington. Yes. You were tasked with your old post of securing an event, that very event. How does one do that, especially in light of these new terror threats?
The inauguration is designated what we refer to as an NSSE, a National Special Security Event. January 6th this year has also been designated an NSSE to put in the middle of those two events a very gigantic presidential level rally, presents a significant security challenge in terms of resources, manpower, and so it's not as simple as just throwing a big party on short notice. You've got to put a lot of security in place when you have the person who's about to become president in this current threat environment, which we just talked about a few minutes ago. And so I hope the president-elect and his team carefully considered that before they decided to have this large rally. I would have thought that some of the very same people that are coming to the inauguration would go to the rally. So kind of what's the point?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I see the point either. But just as a final thought, just an event so big, the inauguration itself, I mean, there will be, of course, federal law enforcement, help from the states. But how does one, how does one secure an event that size? And let's remember this, of course, the man who's about to be taking the oath of office survived a pair of assassination attempts this year. We know the threat level is very high.
I am confident that the inaugural event, the inauguration, will be very, very secure. They've been building the barricades and the security on the Capitol grounds since before the election. I've seen it myself 8 years ago when I was responsible for all of this. There'll be so much security and screening, a chipmunk won't be able to get on the Capitol grounds. But again, to add an additional major security event to that weekend just before makes the situation more complex and more challenging, very clearly.
Yeah, the security around the White House has been hardened as well. Saw that recently. Former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. We appreciate it. Up next here, the CDC says there has been an unusually high number of norovirus outbreaks that